Knuckleheads, your winner by seventh round TKO, Alexander Usyk, in a basically what looked to be a glorified sparring session against Chaz Witherspoon, an undeserving heavyweight, if we're being honest with ourselves. But this is boxing, and if you know anything about boxing at all, you know that it's got its share of problems. Alexander Usyk tonight in Chicago wiped the floor with Chaz Witherspoon in a very non-competitive fight. Of course, you got to think like a promoter when you're looking at this fight as a fan. And I think that's an unfortunate thing. But what I mean is, you got to look at the fight as a promoter because you've got the Golden Goose and Alexander Usyk, one of the most technical and skilled big men in the world, a gold medalist in the heavyweight division in the London 2012 Olympics, a gold medalist in the European Championships, just on and on, a gold medalist in all sorts of world championships and boxing, over 350 amateur fights. He hadn't fought in about a year. He had ruptured his bicep after that Tony Bellew fight. He was moving up in weight from cruiserweight to the next division, which is heavyweight. And the promoter just wanted to make sure that this guy is going to have a nice, easy segue into the heavyweight division. And that's why he fought Chaz Witherspoon. Is it right? In my opinion, it's not right, but this is the boxing culture. This is the boxing culture we call out almost on a daily basis on this channel. But it is what it is. We love combat sports. We're still going to watch. Does that mean the hardcore fans and the casual fans are going to watch this kind of thing? I don't know, to each his own, but we're still going to watch Knuckleheads here at Fighters Rep. Alexander Usyk basically fought a fight where he was just shaking the rust off, and the broadcasters were saying it over and over again. He's shaking his arms out. He's shaking the rust off. He was doing this with his wrists. He was throwing his arms down. He was shaking his elbows out, and he was beating the shit out of Chaz Witherspoon. And Chaz Witherspoon looked like a 30-year-old journeyman that had lost to Seth Mitchell in the past and Tony Thompson in the past. And he just didn't belong in there, but they had to get a body in there to build Usyk up in the heavyweight division. I will say this, I thought Chicago had a large Polish population. Apparently there's a large Ukrainian population, and I thought to myself when they were going to do the fight in Chicago, the first thing I thought of was, well, the Polish population there is big, so perhaps there's other Eastern European populations. And so immediately I thought to myself, are there a lot of Ukrainians in Chicago? There must be if they're deciding to do the fight there. And it was a solid crowd there with a lot of green and yellow Ukrainian flags. And I thought that was very very cool. But yeah, that was just basically, what we expected from Alexander Usyk. He didn't really floor it throughout the fight. I would say the maximum he went into was fifth gear just before the stoppage at the end of the seventh round, where basically Chaz Witherspoon did his version of a nomas. Usyk only really stepped on the gas just, within the last few seconds of the seventh round. And then, the referee went over to Chaz Witherspoon, and essentially Chaz Witherspoon said, no more, I'm done here. I'm 38 years old. I didn't deserve to be in here in the first place. I have no business being in the ring with Usyk. That's not what he said, but he just said, I'm done, and he was a fatigued 38-year-old heavyweight man. I mean, there's no reason, who hadn't done anything really in the sport, especially when compared to Usyk. and just didn't really deserve to be in there, and you look at that and you juxtapose it to the UFC fights that we had tonight, where a lot of the fights were very even, and you see the influence of martial arts still in MMA, and you see its deterioration, unfortunately, in boxing. So guys, if you like talking about combat sports, be sure to click the subscribe button below, donate to the super chat, get your Fighters Rep merchandise in the links below. Anything you purchase basically is reinvested right back into Fighters Rep Promotions, where we're building the only kickboxing show in the entire state of California, the only one that matters. Will Sniff is in the chat room. Thank you so much, Will, for joining the chat. Much appreciated. And Will Sniff is saying, this the guy calling out Wilder. Well, Will, let's really educate ourselves on this, Will, before we talk trash about Usyk. Sure, he didn't look fantastic today because he didn't really try. It was a sparring session, right? But Usyk is a supremely talented boxer, and we all know that Deontay Wilder, while he's a great fighter and a huge puncher, he's not the boxer that most of the heavyweights in the heavyweight division are, and he's certainly, and this from a Wilder fan, he's certainly not the boxer Usyk is, certainly not. However, if Usyk is going to fight Wilder, he's going to have to deal with a guy that's much longer than him, much taller than him, athletic, somebody who can basically land that one shot and put him out, and Usyk's never really fought a guy like Deontay Wilder, but you can't sleep on Usyk, who has 350 amateur fights, my man. 350 amateur fights as an education like no other. It's something that literally nobody in the heavyweight division right now can say they have. How many heavyweights do you know with 350 amateur fights? It's just non-existent. And then it's not like he's got, shit on his resume. I mean, he's got gold medals in the European Championships. He's got a gold medal from the London 2012 Olympics. He was on this Ukrainian team. He was coached by Lomachenko's dad, and you could see it in his skill. If you just got an eye for movement and skill and talent, you could see it, I think personally he's probably the best boxer in the whole heavyweight division. It's just he's coming up from cruiserweight, and unfortunately in this era of heavyweights, he's going to be undersized. And he did say that he thought Tyson Fury would be his toughest fight, and I would agree with that because Tyson Fury can box and fight, whereas all the other heavyweights, they can't box as well as Fury. And to beat a guy like Usyk, I think you have to be very technical or be able to land that big right hand like Deontay Wilder can. The problem is, will Deontay Wilder be able to land that against a guy like Usyk? So, I don't think it's out of the realm of reality at all for him to call out Deontay Wilder or fight Deontay Wilder. I think we'd be lying to ourselves if we said this guy can't give Deontay Wilder a hell of a fight. Let's not forget, I don't know if you guys watched it, but when Arthur Szpilka fought Deontay Wilder, he was outboxing him. Luis Ortiz, Tyson Fury, a lot of people have outboxed Deontay Wilder. I think a supreme boxer like a guy like Usyk is really going to give Wilder a lot of trouble, and that's why Tyson Fury gave Wilder so much trouble. But again, Wilder has the equalizer in the heavyweight division. That being said, though, any heavyweight can punch. Anybody that weighs 200 pounds plus, if they land a shot that you don't see coming flush, you're going to sleep. So, Will Sniff, I understand what you're saying. The guy calling out Wilder, I understand what you're saying. Wilder's a beast. Wilder's a different animal, than Chaz Witherspoon especially. But Wilder's kryptonite is going to be somebody who can box and who has a little bit of power. A little bit. And, I just don't like it from a technical standpoint. A guy like Wilder going into a fight like this, if I'm Wilder or I'm his coach or I'm his advisor, I tell him, man, you got to be careful with this guy. I wouldn't like my fighter going in against someone who I thought was technically superior to them, because skills pay the bills, at least in my opinion. Skills pay the bills, and there's only so much you can last with that one intangible, that big power or great speed or whatever. You have to have those fundamentals down, because as soon as it erodes even slightly, the rest of the division is going to come for you. So, while I appreciate what you're saying, and Deontay Wilder's a really big, tall, strong guy with a huge reach and a monster punch, to rule out Usyk and to laugh him off is we're just lying to ourselves here. And this is not a channel where, I'm going to bullshit you guys. I don't give a shit where you guys are from. I see a lot of these channels are biased for whatever reason, tribal or whatever the fuck. I don't care. Whatever you guys' opinions is, I respect it. Anything you guys say on this channel is going to be respected. I just ask that you guys keep, a little bit of respect towards each other. But, I don't care where you're from. I don't care who you like. I just like combat sports. I like boxing. And that's what we're here to discuss, and that's what this forum is about. If you like that, if you like the idea of coming to a forum after the big fights and being able to discuss whatever you like and being welcome, no matter who you are or where you're from or whatever, or, I don't give a shit about all that other stuff. If you like that, feel free to subscribe below. Also, we'd appreciate if you buy anything from the links below or donate. It all gets reinvested back into Fighters Rep Promotions, which is my kickboxing promotion I've been working on here in the Mecca of combat sports in Southern California, where we have some of the best talent in the world. In fact, Anderson Silva's son just fought for us recently, so there's that. Mr. Know-It-All is saying no respect for Usyk because he's white. Mr. Know-It-All, I don't know if that's you saying that you don't respect him because of his race or whatever, or if you're saying that other people don't. I think it's a little bit silly. I think it's extremely silly, actually, if anybody, would base boxing skills. I mean, it's 2019, people. Can we just stop with the personal politic? We're not really into it on this channel, but, say what you like. I think Usyk is a beast. I think Deontay Wilder's a beast. I think Tyson Fury's a beast, man. I'd love to watch all these guys fight each other. The problem is what we really have to focus on, okay? Besides all this bullshit, personal politic and tribalism and bullshit, what we really have to focus on is the sport of boxing. Because look at us, we're all here. We all love this fucking sport. We all love combat sports. I've got my own freaking promotion. I love it so much. I'm trying to build kickboxing here. And, we all love the sport, and what we need to focus on, is the bullshit boxing culture that glorifies the undefeated record, and instead of glorifying the fighters, If you're in there and you're fighting, it doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, whatever. You need to be respected. You should be respected for your skill, for your character. Everything else is bullshit. Smoke and mirrors. Don't fall for it. While everybody's arguing over that stupid bullshit, the personal politic and stuff like that, boxing is getting shit on. And you kind of saw an example of it this evening where you had guys fighting that were more than 20-1 favorites to win. I mean, in what universe is it acceptable to put a guy against another guy who, and that there's the guy's a 30-1 underdog? I mean, it's insane. And so this is the culture that we've allowed to sort of, defecate on, for lack of a better word, and fester in boxing, a sport that we all grew up watching. That's why everybody's here. So that's what I'm saying here. Ginger Giant, again, just came from Blue Blood Sport 20 seconds into the fight. He was saying, I already know this guy can't fuck with Wilder. To be honest with you, I don't know who Blue Blood Sport is. If you could kind of educate me on that one, Ginger, I'd love to hear it. But 20 seconds into the fight saying, I already know this guy can't fuck with Wilder. I mean, why? Because he was, taking it easy in what was basically a glorified sparring match. At the end of the day, you guys, to save, we got to save this sport, man. We got to save combat sports. The UFC is doing it right. A lot of the fights tonight on the UFC card, typically they're evenly matched. But this card tonight was bullshit, man. Dimitri Bivol, too. I mean, he was a 22-1 favorite, I think. Holy shit, man. It's time to stop with the A side, B side, So back to Ginger Giant's comment. 20 seconds into the fight, Blue Blood Sport is saying that this guy can't fuck with Wilder. Why? The guy was taking it easy. He'd been off for a year. He's fighting a 38-year-old. He doesn't have to go in there and swing wild and take the guy out. He's getting some rounds in. He's been off for a year, and he knows it's an easy fight because bullshit boxing culture has basically enabled him to get an easy fight. Guys, again, this is the culture we need to fight against, man. So, yeah, you can't judge within 20 seconds. Rather, you can't even judge Usyk on this fight. All you can say is he fought a 38-year-old guy who had no business being in there with him. That's the biggest takeaway. If we're being honest with ourselves, that's the biggest takeaway from this fight is that Chaz Witherspoon didn't deserve to be in there with Alexander Usyk. If you agree, give me a like, give me a subscribe, show some love in the super chat. That guy didn't belong in there. There's levels to this thing. And a guy like Usyk, again, 350 amateur fights. Who do you know with 350 amateur fights in the heavyweight division? With a gold medal. Not only from the Olympics, but from the World Championships and the European Championships. Usyk is the most decorated heavyweight we have on the planet right now. And let's not fool ourselves. 2 of those 3 gold medals that he won are in the heavyweight division, and they're the 2 most recent gold medals he won. They're both in the heavyweight division. To say he's too small or can't fuck with Wilder based on what you just saw there in the Chaz Witherspoon fight, you're just feeding into the bullshit by saying something like that. So, whoever Blue Blood Sport is, good on them. They have their opinion, but I would have to strongly disagree with it. Malachi Grace says beats Wilder. Beats Wilder. I wouldn't doubt it, man. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, at this point, I would have to give. Shit. I would say at this point, I'd have to give Wilder an advantage just because he's been in the heavyweight division. It's his division. He's big. He's strong, and maybe Usyk needs to get used to the professional heavyweight game a little bit. But I think if we're talking about priming, once they hit their prime in the heavyweight division, or just in a boxing, honestly, in a boxing match, I don't see, unless Wilder lands that big punch, unless you believe that much in that big punch landing, then how can you say Wilder wins that fight? I don't see how. Usyk, again, the most decorated heavyweight as far as an amateur career goes in the world. This is not up for debate. It's not up for debate. Its numbers don't lie. 350 amateur fights. He only lost 15. He only lost 15 of his 350 amateur fights. It's incredible. 3 gold medals. 1 in the London 2012 Olympics. So nobody's as decorated as him. Anthony Joshua has a gold medal, but not nearly the amateur career that Alexander Usyk has. So, just from a technical standpoint, look, in my opinion, and you guys might shit on me for this, but it's okay. I can take it. I got a thick skin, okay? In my opinion, Mayweather technically, might be the best I've ever seen. He might be the best I've ever seen, because I love defense. That's what I appreciate. And I also loved his offense. I thought he was incredibly, incredibly effective, and technical. Mayweather to me was brilliant. And skills pay the bills. Mayweather showed that. Mayweather proved that, And so if I'm going to go by that logic, my logic is skills pay the bills, then I got to pick Usyk over everybody in the heavyweight division. The only issue that kind of obstructs that is the fact that Usyk is coming up from cruiserweight, and we're in an era of heavyweights that's so huge right now. I mean, the guys are like 6'5", 6'7", 6'9". Tyson Fury is 6'9". So that's what you have to look at. And that's basically the only thing you can knock Usyk for, is that he's, in the current landscape, in the current heavyweight division, he's undersized. He's undersized. Mr. Know-It-All saying, media, man up. It's true, you sell out. This ass clown is politician. This dude is a clown. Is U.S. boxing corrupt? Mr. Know-It-All, I'm a little bit confused. Forgive me, my man. Is U.S. boxing corrupt? No. Boxing is corrupt. It doesn't matter if it's U.S. boxing. Boxing, anywhere on this planet, unfortunately, is for the most part corrupt. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a 22-1 underdog fighting anyone. It shouldn't be that disparate. You know what I mean? There shouldn't be that disparity between two fighters. And Chaz Witherspoon, if we're being honest with ourselves, again, if you guys want to be tribal about something, if you guys want to fight and be a part of something, be a part of this channel. Subscribe. And we'll do our best to try to change the bullshit boxing culture, which is A side versus B side. This guy's supposed to win, this guy's supposed to lose. Because how are people supposed to make a living? Think about these fighters been training their whole lives, and they throw them in there against, some guy that's going to destroy them, that's got 10 times the experience they do. That's not right, That's something a sociopath does, And I'm tired of that shit, you know what I mean? So if you guys want to get on board with something like that, some kind of noble or honorable cause that's not based on, silliness, personal politic, ethnicity, or whatever, that's what we need to start talking about. It's 2019. We need to start talking about how we fix boxing. How we prevent guys that are, Olympic champions that have 25 gold medals from fighting some, 38-year-old that hasn't fought anybody and last, was in his prime 8 years ago. You know what I mean? That's what we need to talk about. Malachi Grace is saying, silly. Check Blue Blood, Dante's ego, etc. I've seen Dante's Boxing Nation channel. I've seen Ego's channel. And to each their own, man. I'm not gonna knock these people. These people are established, and they have their demographic. They have their people that they're targeting, and there's an audience there, and good for them. They found their niche. But that's not the way I do things. On this channel, everybody's welcome. On this channel, everybody's always going to be equally welcome. It doesn't matter if you like combat sports. That's what matters. That's what this is about, And I'll say this. This is about a culture of people that are sick and tired of all that personal politic bullshit and want to talk about combat sports, okay, that are fans, and want to talk about fixing combat sports. Because let me tell you guys, I see on a daily basis what these fighters go through. I'm here in the mecca of combat sports. We interview fighters on this channel. We are a promotion. We air our fights on this channel. We do documentaries with fighters. I just had Anderson Silva at my last show. His son fought for us. We see what these kids go through. We see what these fighters go through. And for them, throughout their career at any point, to be put in there against someone that's just going to wipe them out, it's a disrespect to humanity. It's a disrespect to human consciousness, man. Human conscience, sorry, is what I mean. You got to have some kind of empathy. You got to have something that makes you human, that separates you from, a savage, an animal, and that is being compassionate towards people and caring, especially towards fighters. I mean, these guys are sitting there getting their heads pounded in. Let me tell you guys, we go and do sparring once in a while. I do sparring maybe, a couple times a week. I've been hitting my head and I don't even want to tell you guys what it feels like sometimes. Sometimes it hurts for a week. You're in pain. Sometimes it lasts forever for some of these fighters. I interviewed Magomed Abdusalamov before his fight where he ended up becoming a vegetable. So this is the kind of thing that bothers me about combat sports. The other shit doesn't matter. I don't care. You think I care where you're from or, what you think about politics? Or, oh my God, you hear that all day long on the news and bullshit. Come here to talk about combat sports. Ginger Giant is saying these American boxing channels on YouTube are garbage. Nobody has a clue what they're talking about. Usyk takes his time with everyone. Clowns that have 50,000 subs and think Deontay Wilder is the best thing ever. Ginger Giant, you may have a point there. but these guys have a lot of subscribers because they've been doing it for a long time, and there is a demographic and a target audience for them. There is an audience for them, and you gotta wish them the best. I mean, it's different strokes for different folks, but for somebody to say that Deontay Wilder is the end-all, be-all, it's very hard for me as someone who's, again, a fan of combat sports and technique to sit here and say, this guy, Deontay Wilder, is inferior to Usyk as a boxer. But in a boxing match where they are boxing, I'm going to have to go with Wilder. It's just hard for me to do it, If Mayweather is fighting anybody near his weight division, I got to pick Mayweather. He's technically brilliant. If Lomachenko is fighting anyone near his division, I got to go with Lomachenko. He's technically brilliant. If Terence Crawford is fighting anyone near his division, I got to go with Terence Crawford, Unless he fights Errol Spence Jr., then it's a close fight. But the reason I favor, Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr., who do you guys think that wins that fight? I'm going to tell you straight up. I got to go with Terence Crawford. I do think that Errol Spence has the power advantage, physical power. I don't know about punching power, but but as far as being physical, I do think Errol Spence is tough as shit, and he showed that against Sean Porter, that he can be as physical as Sean Porter and then some, right? But I got to go with skill all the time because that's the way I see the sport. Some people, maybe they don't see that. Maybe some people see, guys from here and they like guys from there and they think those guys are better fighters or guys from here, but I don't, that's just not the way I view sports. I wouldn't feel comfortable making a pick like that. I wouldn't feel comfortable making that pick based on anything other than skill. What else matters, right? In a boxing match, boxing skill should dictate who you think is going to win. It shouldn't dictate who you're a fan of. I mean, for me it does, but I'm not going to tell you guys who to be fans of. But in a boxing match, boxing technique should be the most important thing you look at. Of course, we also look at speed and power and size and stuff like that, and that's why I'm saying when we consider Usyk's place in the heavyweight division right now with just one fight, we don't know if he's going to beat everybody. But as far as technique goes, he's already ahead of the pack. And if you disagree with that, explain to me how you can disagree with that. With 3 gold medals, 3, and and 350 amateur fights. How can you disagree with that? You can't. You can try, but I'm going to shoot you down. Maxim Osinski is saying, when the fight starts. Maxim, the fight started and the fight ended. Alexander Usyk won at the end of the 7th round by TKO. Chaz Witherspoon basically gave up on his stool. Guys, I appreciate all you being in the chat. Feel free to donate to the super chat. You know, we do this all the time, 9 p.m. Pacific time. Be sure to subscribe below. Show some love and subscribe to the channel. If you buy some merchandise, the links below, or anything from Amazon in the link below in our affiliate link, you'll be contributing to Fighters Rep Promotions, where I've got the best young strikers in the world, and we air our fights live for free right here on YouTube. So, yeah, when the fight airs, Maxime, just so you know, Usyk already won. And it was like a glorified sparring match because the other guy had no business being in the ring with him. But is that Usyk's fault? No, that's boxing culture's fault. That's the sociopaths that run boxing's fault. Okay? The panty wearing, you know, coke snorting, you know, I don't know what they're doing. Money grubbing boxing promoters that run the sport, you know. It's unfortunate. Sergey V-Boy is saying, it's not about humanity, bro. It's business. If you got to fight, you got to fight. That's it. You make the money. You know, Sergey, so what you're communicating to me there, Sergey, and I respect your opinion, is you can't make money unless you make a lopsided fight. That's what I'm working against, because let me tell you, there's so many guys that want to fight. I'm here in California. I'm in the mecca of combat sports. We were going to put a show together for December, the 21st of December. I was going to put a show together, my kickboxing promotion, Fighters Rep. I was going to put a show together, and within days, I had over 40 fighters reach out to me to compete. Are you saying I couldn't match them evenly? I mean, you can match people evenly and still get them paid. You know what I mean? What I'm working against is the mismatches. That's what I mean by humanity. You don't put somebody in there against someone they have no business fighting. If you disagree with that, then you disagree with it. But that's my point. Suleiman, thank you for joining the chat, brother. They are pandering to their audience. They know the truth, but don't want to make their subs angry. And that's unfortunate, Suleiman. I think that's disgusting that people do that. And, you know, I don't pander to shit. You know, I make my own money. This channel is nobody's property but mine. Fighters Rep is my promotion. I'm a fucking tyrant on this shit, you know. But I'm fair. And I'm open-minded, and I want to hear everything you guys have to say, you know. And I'm not going to pander to anybody. You know, if you don't disagree with me, that's fine. You know, there's nobody, guys, there's nobody in life you're going to find that agrees with everything you say. Nobody. And that's the whole reason I created this forum. So everybody can come in here and talk about combat sports and disagree and talk and have fun and enjoy it. Typically, there should be a glass of whiskey involved, but if you don't drink, you know, do whatever else makes you happy. So, Suleiman, I appreciate the comment, brother. Freddie B. Birkinshaw. Usyk outboxes anyone in the heavyweight division, including Fury, if he can stay away from their bombs with his footwork. Usyk wins. Fury looks brilliant boxer because he's the only boxer in the division. Usyk elite. Freddie, I got to agree. I got to agree with you, Freddie. Freddie, why is this so hard for people to understand this? That the best boxer is the one that should win. Why is this hard? I gotta agree. I gotta agree with you 100%. Suleiman, Bud Crawford would become a technician against Spence. I agree. And he doesn't need to become a technician, Suleiman. He is a technician. Okay, if Bud Crawford gets in front of everybody, anybody, He's going to pick them apart. Anybody within a weight class or two, he's just going to pick them apart. The guy's incredible. He can box from both sides, orthodox, southpaw. He transitions flawlessly. He's got power. He's got killer instinct. Terrence Crawford has the best killer instinct in boxing. Let's argue. That guy's got the tenacity and the best killer instinct in boxing that I've seen in years. He's got this mean streak in him that if you fuck with that guy and piss him off, he's going to take you out. He's going to take you out. You know, we've seen this. And I love it. I love the guy. You know, I actually tried to interview him not too long ago. He seemed open to it, you guys. I'll try to get it for you. But this was a while back. I had, messaged him on social media. I'll see if I can get him on the show at some point. But I'm a big fan, I'm a big fan of the technical guys. Lomachenko, Crawford, guys like that. Mayweather, even Pacquiao. Pacquiao still, got impressive technique, especially at his age. But Terrence Crawford, man, Terrence Crawford is a special guy for me because he not only has the technique, he's got the killer instinct. He wants to kill you when he's in there, and I love that. And Errol Spence has got a dog in him too, big dog, and we saw that against Sean Porter. But he's not as technical as Terrence Crawford. Let's see here. What else we got here, knuckleheads? Ginger Giant, a demographic of complete retards that think Wilder's amazing when he was clearly outboxed by a clinically depressed man who lost nearly 200 pounds in a few months. Knowing this was the only reason he even took the fight, which is the funny part. That is the only reason they took the fight against Wilder. Or they took the fight against Fury. They thought he was done for. And again, but that's not Deontay Wilder's fault. That's the bullshit boxing culture's fault, And if people think Wilder won that fight, that's fine. I disagree with it, but that's fine. And Wilder's a badass, dude. Wilder should have a lot more popularity and fame than he does. But boxing culture is such bullshit and has turned off so many fucking people that the American heavyweight can't even get the respect he deserves. Let's be honest on that one. But it's because boxing culture is bullshit. And they always pit a guy who's supposed to win against a guy who's supposed to lose. And that's why Deontay Wilder had to smash about 40 tomato cans before he fought somebody. It's not his fault. Freddie Birkinshaw, if it was all about size and weight, Mayweather wouldn't have beat Canelo. If it was just about weight, Valuev would be world champion. Usyk is a serious contender, elite fighter. I agree. And let's not forget, Mayweather beat the shit out of Canelo. Canelo was still young at the time, Canelo wasn't the Canelo he is now. But he beat the dog shit out of Canelo. Ginger Giant, I dropped a sub. Look forward to checking out the content. Thank you, Ginger. Yo, we're here, guys, I'm going to try to do this almost every night, maybe every other night at 9 p.m. Pacific. Excuse me, 9 p.m. Pacific. We for sure are going to be on here 9 p.m. on Thursdays to do our predictions and previews for the big fights. And then immediately after all the big fights on Saturdays, we always get back on here. So, we appreciate the subs. Also, definitely, if you guys could donate to the super chat, that's greatly appreciated. Now, I'm trying to do this full time. I'm also trying to do Fighters Rep Promotions full time, which is tied into this channel. I really implore you guys to tune into our kickboxing fights. We'll be uploading some of the most recent fights from Fighters Rep 8, which went down last month on the 21st. Those are going to be uploaded for free for you guys to watch. Man, I got some of the best young strikers in the world, so I really hope you guys check it out. And I run that shit, so there's no mismatches or bullshit going on. Guys either show up on the night or they don't. Savage Facts. Freddie, shut the hell up. You don't know nothing. Okay, guys. Let's see what else is going on here. It looks like you guys are fighting with each other already. James Doherty. All the LDBC channels are hating on Usyk. I think they're scared he would indeed beat Wilder. I mean, how could you not see that possibly happening? You got to be in denial. You got to be in denial if you think that it's not possible for Usyk to beat Wilder when Artur Szpilka was outboxing Wilder before he got knocked out. Is somebody saying that Wilder was outboxing Szpilka? Please, let's argue about that. I'm happy to have a debate about that any day of the week. Szpilka was getting in his ass before Wilder knocked him. Okay, he knocked him the fuck out, but still, he had no business losing to Szpilka in a boxing match. And Tyson Fury boxed his ears off. Okay, let's be honest. Let's be honest, Freddie is saying he's 6'3", same weight as Wilder, same size as Parker, more or less, and he took Joshua distance, and Usyk is far better than Parker. Usyk is different class than anybody out there. I agree, man, and listen, there's no doubt in my mind that Usyk already can beat any heavyweight out there. Because again, all his accomplishments, his gold medals, or actually the majority of them, were at heavyweight. The two out of his 3 gold medals were at heavyweight. And you can look that up. The guy's ready. But the heavyweight pro game is a bit different. And he's taking some easy fights to get used to it. That's what we saw tonight. Do I agree with that? No, I don't like it. But it is what it is. That's what boxing's turned into. Savage facts. We're realistic. Usyk was losing against Bellew until he got tired. Savage facts. What the fuck y'all watching? Savage facts. I don't know what you mean by we realistic. Are you saying you're realistic? You think Usyk was losing against Bellew? Usyk was having a hard time with Bellew. He was losing to Bellew for a little bit. I agree with that. But are we saying Bellew is a bad boxer? Bellew is a fucking badass, dude. And then Bellew was letting it all hang out in the beginning. That's the only reason he was beating Usyk. But he could not keep that pace. And that's why he got stopped. So, I mean, anybody can go out there and blow their load in the first 5 or 6 rounds. But then what happens? But then what happens? You saw what happens. Usyk takes your ass out. Usyk knocks you out. I mean, how many people, can beat Tony Bellew in his prime? Tony Bellew was a really good fighter, man. Tony Bellew didn't even get the credit. I don't think Tony Bellew got the credit he deserved. I think Tony Bellew has always been a pretty damn good fighter and pretty technical. So, that's all I have to say about that. Yes, Bellew was giving Usyk hell for the first few rounds until he just couldn't keep the pace up anymore. Artur Szpilka was beating Deontay Wilder until Wilder knocked his ass out. Maybe he couldn't keep the pace up either. That really the logic there that you're trying to use, it just doesn't really work for me, Savage. But I appreciate the opinion, man. James Doherty, Usyk let Bellew tire out, then put him to sleep. Exactly. That's exactly what I just said. James Doherty, you're brilliant. Please subscribe to the channel. I want you on here. Savage facts. Usyk was getting hit, bro, by Bellew, of course. Any elite heavyweight will KO him. Maybe. Of course, if Deontay Wilder lands a punch on someone, they're dead. But I don't think Usyk would fight Deontay Wilder the way he fought Bellew. Ronsta. Thanks for being in the chat, guys. Ronsta saying he was never losing at Bellew. It's boxing technique and winning the fight. Savage facts. Again, Savage, thank you for being in the chat room. Appreciate you. The point is he was getting hit hard against a guy that weighs barely 190. Maybe. Okay. So Suleiman said, Teddy Atlas put it best when he said Crawford's boxing instinct is unteachable and it is an all-time great when it comes to instinct. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more, man. Terrence Crawford is absolutely brilliant. James Doherty, thank you so much for subscribing, brother. Much appreciated. Guys, please subscribe if you can. I'd really appreciate it. We do this a lot, so I'd appreciate you guys being on the forum. You're all welcome, and man, you guys have got some really good stuff to say, and I appreciate it. Wilder was getting beat by many a boxer, this is James Doherty, until he got the knockouts. Can't Usyk also come from behind in fights? I mean, that's exactly the point I was trying to make. Marco Martinez, Terrence Crawford is the most mismanaged boxer in the game. Let's argue. I don't even want to get into that. I don't even know what you mean by that, man. What do you want him to do? He's fought everybody that's been put in front of him and crushed him. I don't know what more you want from the guy. I mean, we'd love, again, to see him fight Errol Spence, but again, this is the bullshit boxing culture that I'm talking about. Join the fucking Knucklehead Nation. Subscribe. Join the revolution, and let's change this shit. Let's change this shit so that the best guys fight the best guys. Because this is bullshit until that happens. This is a fucking show. This is WWE. Savage Facts. When did Wilder get KO'd? Not since the amateurs, as far as I know. Freddie Birkinshaw. Usyk is like Loma. He starts slow, works fighters out. If you watch him, he does the same every fight, every round, turns it up more and more. It's called being an elite fighter. Freddie, that is his style, and I do agree that he's elite. Savage Facts. 40 tomato cans, but is the champion, okay? Yes, he is the champ. I got the utmost respect for Deontay Wilder. He's the champ. That's not an argument for me. But he did fight almost 40 tomato cans. Other than Bermain Stavern, for a long time, he hadn't fought anybody. And even Bermain Stavern was, Ronsta, Usyk will give Wilder a big challenge. I agree with that. I think all the heavyweights give each other a challenge. I think Ruiz, Usyk, Wilder, Fury, and still Anthony Joshua give each other a challenge. And in fact, you guys might disagree with me on this and might hate me for this. I think Anthony Joshua beats Ruiz in the rematch. That's what I think. Let's argue about it. Savage Facts. I guess Joshua is a tomato can because Ruiz beat his ass. No way, dude. I don't think that at all, Savage. Ron, so Wilder's already avoiding him. Let me see where we're at. Usyk will give Wilder a big challenge, yes. Usyk has great foot movement, angles, range. He's great to watch, says James Doherty. I agree, man. I agree. So Savage Fact said, I guess Joshua's a tomato can because Ruiz beat his ass. No, not a tomato can. None of those guys are tomato cans. Ronsta, Wilder's already avoiding him. It does sound like a little bit of ducking might be going on, but if you're looking at it from a business standpoint, you're Wilder. I mean, you have nothing to gain by fighting Usyk at this point. Usyk needs more fights before I think he'll be able to fight Wilder. Savage Facts, you guys hate Wilder. Why? I don't know who you're talking about, dude. Wilder's the fucking man. You're on the wrong channel. You're on the wrong channel if you think we hate Wilder. Ronsta, Wilder is a champ, but needs to fight the top 5. Savage Facts saying he fought Fury. Look, guys, the top 5 heavyweights need to fight each other. That's the point. That's the point. And it's not happening in boxing because boxing culture is bullshit. That's been my point since the beginning of this video. If you agree, give me a sub, give me a like. Jesus, you guys are trying to be stingy with me or what? James Doherty, Savage Facts, we don't hate Wilder. Just think Usyk would outbox beat him. Savage Facts, if you think technique is important in boxing, do you think Usyk has a shot? I'd like to hear your opinion on that. Ginger Giant, Joshua fought Vladimir in his 19th fight. Wilder fought a bricklayer from Guatemala. Ginger Giant, you ruthless bastard. Suleiman, Spilka made Wilder look like an amateur for 10 rounds. Derek Chisora knocked Spilka out cold within 2 rounds. Fuck, man, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Savage Facts, everyone can outbox him, bro, until you get hit. Well, that's true, too. But you got to get hit. You got to get hit, So that's why I'm saying, Savage Facts, I don't feel comfortable when Wilder fights because I feel like if he does it one day, if somebody gets through those 12 rounds without getting hit by a big shot, they're going to beat him. They're going to beat him. It's just logic, my man. It's not prejudice. It's not hate. It's not favoritism. It's logic. Okay? If he had Mayweather's technique or Fury's technique with the same power he has now, I would never pick against him. But he just doesn't have the technique for me to feel comfortable picking him all the time. Freddie Birkinshaw, if Ruiz didn't have the spare tires, he would be smaller than Usyk, and he beat Joshua. Usyk can beat anybody easily in the heavyweight. If he don't get tagged, he beats anyone. I agree. Usyk's going to have to get pretty much knocked out, I think, by most of these heavyweights if he's to lose to them. Unless it's Tyson Fury, who might have enough technique and range to deal with him from a technical standpoint. He can also get knocked the fuck out by Deontay Wilder, maybe even by Anthony Joshua Ruiz, but I feel the most comfortable. If I had to pick a fighter to beat Usyk, I would feel the most comfortable with Fury at this point because he's the most technical. Ronsta, yes, he fought Fury, but he needs to step up fighting better opponents. All these heavyweights need to step up and fight better opponents, guys. Let's be fucking honest with each other here, okay? Stop the bullshit. Let's be honest, guys. All these guys need to fight each other. All of them. All this ducking and dodging and promotional bullshit excuses, it's disgusting. It's ruining the sport and it's turning people off. Savage Facts, Bellew was old. Yeah, but Bellew's a badass, bro. And Bellew was priming later in his career. He didn't win a title until the very end of his career. James Doherty, Wilder has the best right hand from range. That's true. But is that enough to beat the elite? We will see. Yes, we will see. If these guys end up fighting each other, we will see. Savage Facts, who he needs to fight, everyone failing drug test. That's true, man. These people are fucking Reuters, man. But look, there's Ruiz, there's Fury, there's Joshua, there's Usyk. That's what I'm saying, Savage Facts. I want these guys to fight each other, these 5 guys. And more. I think Dillian White, Joseph Parker, all these guys need to fight each other. Let's make them fight each other. Let's demand that they fight each other. Winner from Joshua and Ruiz needs to fight. I agree. Ronsta rematch. Ronsta saying rematch, Fury, Joshua, Povetkin, Usyk, White. I like it. Kubik, Ukraine said something and then retracted it. Don't be scared, Kubik. Just don't say anything crazy. Freddie Birkinshaw saying Tony Bellew said he was a fan of Usyk. He said he is that good. Watch the interview. He plays chess with his opponents for the first 2 rounds and steps it up. It's called being an elite fighter. Yes. Savage Facts, bro. I'm not just a fan. I used to fight amateurs in my days. Well, I appreciate that, Savage. Kubik, Ukraine, saying Usyk got stamina for days and will pick anybody apart. Very possible. Ronsa, so you should appreciate Usyk technique. His footwork is the best in the heavyweight division, and I think he's responding to Savage. I think so. Ian Tunn, this is non-biased pro talk at its best. Thank you so much, Ian. Because, I do this out of love. I do this because I love combat sports. I love humanity equally. I don't give a shit where you're from. If you like to talk about combat sports, come hang out at the channel. That's it. My family's from everywhere. They look like everything. If I showed you 2 of them standing next to each other, you wouldn't believe they were related. That kind of shit doesn't matter, though. What matters is how you treat people. Do you respect people? That's what I care about, So thank you so much. And please hit the subscribe button, you guys. Oh, and feel free to donate in the super chat. Show some love. It's all going to get invested back into Fighters Rep anyway, where I'm building some of the best young talent in the world. I guarantee you, if you guys watch our fights, you'll be blown away. I'm here in Southern California, the mecca of combat sports. I got the best young fighters from everywhere. Brazil, Russia, the Congo, Japan, Vietnam. I got some killers. I got the Korean Pit Bull. I got all kinds of killer kids on my cards, man. And I'm just trying to build a great sport for them and change the culture in this bullshit sport where they got, 40-year-olds fighting 30-year-old priming Olympic gold medalists. That's fucked up. Ginger Giant asking James if he's Irish. I got love for the Irish, man. They seem to really enjoy their combat sports. I need to go over to that country and check it out. God himself, Usyk is going to take over this entire division. Perhaps. We'll see if the size is not going to be too much of an issue. I think that's the only thing that may stand in his way is the size, because definitely the technique is not a problem. Well said, Kubik. I agree. I guess he was agreeing. That's Freddie Birkinshaw agreeing with the stamina issue, I think. James Doherty, yep, Belfast, mate. Shout out to Belfast. James, thank you so much for tuning in, my man. From Ireland. Dang, man, I'm honored, brother. Thank you. Louis Alberto, Usyk did not impress me. Did not see nothing in him. Louis, but he wasn't trying. It was a sparring session against a 40-year-old, out of shape guy. It wasn't meant to impress anybody. It was just meant for him to get some rounds in. But of course, I understand if you're not impressed because he didn't really even step on the gas. He kept it in like second and third gear through the entirety of the fight. So, of course it didn't look great. Ian Ton, look at this. I just said this. I think Usyk was in second gear only. Yep. That's exactly what it is. Savage Facts, they ball need to fight each other. Bro, I agree. Yes, Savage. I agree too, man. This is bullshit that they don't fight each other. What the hell's the point? If they're not going to fight each other, where's the entertainment going to be? We're going to see them beat up a bunch of old people like we saw tonight? That was a bullshit fight. Fuck, man. The guy who unified the cruiserweight division and just beat Marat Gassiev at the World Boxing Super Series to unify the cruiserweight division. The guy's like the next Evander Holyfield, and they put him in against a fucking 40-year-old fat ass. No offense, now I'm being mean. A 40-year-old guy, out of shape, fat. Let's be honest. It's bullshit. Put him in there against someone young that can give him a fight. That's just the way I feel about it. But, boxing business, and they'll tell you it's business, and you guys will just sit back and say, okay, fuck it. Oh, yeah, he hasn't fought in a long time. He shouldn't have to push himself. He hasn't fought in a year. He ruptured his bicep. The fuck, you're a boxer, bro. Get in there and fucking fight somebody, man. The fuck, bro. It's disgusting. God himself, outboxing Waters about as hard as putting on a pair of shoes. Savage Facts, I agree that technique matters, but KO someone is part of technique. Well, that's true. That's true. But the chances of beating someone with a one-punch KO are much lower than the chances of outpointing someone. And so that's where I hesitate with Wilder. And I think if you boxed amateurs like you say you did, you'd understand that. Gunay 205, we need a tournament. What do you rep? I don't know what you mean by that, Gunay. Ginger Giant, Derry James, James Doherty. I think Daniel Dubois and Usyk will pick up heavyweight belts next year. Wilder, AJ are on notice. Man, that Daniel Dubois looks like he's no fucking joke. You're not lying about that, James. That guy looks like a serious problem. And you know who else is a serious problem? Joe Joyce. Someone needs to put respect on Joe Joyce's name, and someone needs to fight him. But the problem is boxing business is in the way of him getting the opportunities he deserves. Because he's high risk, low reward. Why? Because, they want someone who talks shit, or they want someone who's, had a million fights against somebody who's, an absolute nobody, or it's all messed up. Joe Joyce, I guarantee you guys, Joe Joyce can beat any heavyweight in the world. He's got the ability. He's got the ability to beat any heavyweight in the world. That's what I think. All these guys can beat each other. Wilder, Joyce, Ruiz, Joshua, Fury, Dillian White. I'm saying it. I fucking love Dillian White, man. That guy's a dog and a half. I love that guy. Usyk. All these guys can beat each other. Yes or no? Tell me what you guys think. Let me see here. God himself says they all of shit resumes apart from AJ. Fury's got a decent resume. He's got a decent resume. Savage facts. Fury got technique but no power and chin. Joshua has technique but no stamina and chin. Wilder has no technique but has power and chin. It's crazy. I will say though, I don't think Fury has no power. Because I thought I saw Fury rock Wilder in that fight. He did, kill that poor Tom Schwartz guy. When you're 6'9" and you weigh 300 pounds, I think all of these guys, to be honest with you, have some power. But nobody has power like Wilder. Wilder has alien fucking from outer space power. Fury's got that technique from outer space. And Josh was kind of in the middle. Ginger Giant, something about Ruiz Usyk is intriguing. Hell yeah, because they're both undersized and pretty technical heavyweights. I would love to watch that fight. That'd be a fun fight. Suleiman, Anthony Joshua, through the first 22 fights, has the best heavyweight boxing resume of all time, in my opinion. You may be right about that as far as modern boxing goes. I think you're right about that, Suleiman. Savage Facts, how can we make them fight each other? Savage Facts, we create a channel, we build a buzz like we have here, we get together, we talk about it, we send emails and tweets and we shit on them for this bullshit. You felt, if you make enough noise, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, bro. You make enough noise, you get what you want, That's just the way it is. That's what they're doing on all these other fucking channels. Ian Tunn, Usyk is a freaking weapon. Yeah, he's no joke. He's no joke for sure. Suleiman, name another heavyweight ever with a better resume through their first 22 fights. I really don't think I can. Savage Facts, but lost the 23rd. I don't have a problem with losses. I'll say this over and over again. I don't have a problem at all with losses. If you're losing, you're probably fighting some really tough guys. If you've never lost, then you probably haven't challenged yourself. In combat sports, it's very hard to stay undefeated. Very hard. And typically when somebody's undefeated, there's something missing. Let's be honest with ourselves here. There's always something missing, or there was a fight that they should have lost, that they got a favorable decision in, or something happened. If you're the best and you're fighting the best, you gotta lose at some point. Somebody has your number out there. That's just the way it is, and that's the way it should be, and that should be okay with everybody. These people should have our respect, whether they win or lose. They should have our respect. Wilder, Ruiz, Fury, Usyk, doesn't matter where they're from. They should have our respect because they're going in there and they're getting punched in the face for money, but for our entertainment. So, we should honor these people. Boxing is a special thing. Combat sports is special. If instead of going to war and committing genocides in other countries, we had people that would just step into the ring and settle their differences, knuckle up and settle their differences, the world would be a better place. There are genocides going on right now, you guys. Because people don't have the fucking balls to step in the ring with each other. Kubik, Ukraine is saying much respect. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Hey, you guys want to thank me? Donate in the super chat. Click the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Show some love. That's how I want to be thanked. Or get you some Fighters Rep merchandise in the links below. Or if you buy something from the Amazon affiliate link below, you're all going to be shopping there for the holidays anyway. We'll get a percentage and I'll just reinvest it back into the promotion and building these young, amazing kids that I got fighting for us. I call them kids, but they're all adults, but they're fucking young and badass. Suleiman, savage fact, so you agree with me then. Look at this. We're building camaraderie in here already. People that, weren't even on the same page, now they're on the same page. James Doherty, Suleiman, it's good, but you have to take into account what era. Who was boxing at that time? Would AJ even win a belt in the 70s, 80s? Don't know, to be truthful. James Doherty, bringing that old school knowledge. I bet, man. George Foreman, Ken Norton, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier. There was some killers back there, man. There was some killers. Still, nobody can move like Muhammad Ali. Still never seen anybody move like Muhammad Ali, dance like that at that size. You're not going to see it. The closest is Tyson Fury, but not as smooth, not even close. At least I don't think he's as smooth. He's smooth, but he's also 6'9". So, but he's not Muhammad Ali. Anyway, savage facts. 40-year-old out of shape guy. You say, huh? LOL. But y'all saying he gonna run the division. I don't know what you're talking about there, Savage. Ginger, Joshua does have the best resume after 22, but he can't touch the elite 70s or 90s guys. Not yet. Not yet. If he wins this Andy Ruiz fight and keeps winning, I bet everybody changes their tone on that. I do think he's going to beat Andy Ruiz. Let's argue. Savage Facts, 40 KO, the chances are pretty high. Savage Facts, the chances are high when you're fighting nobodies. He couldn't KO Tyson Fury, and he couldn't KO Bermain Stavern in their first fight, and Bermain Stavern was a nobody. Other than Tyson Fury, he KO'd Luis Ortiz, but he went life and death with Luis Ortiz. Savage Facts. Savage Facts, man, you're holding on to this water thing really tight, man. It's not there, man. It's not there. I don't love Wilder that much. I don't love Fury that much. I don't love any of these guys that much. I'm just calling it the way I see it, my man. I'm calling it the way I see it. I want all these guys to fight each other. They can all beat each other. But I just, personally, I can't say that I believe the chances of knocking somebody out are the same, against an elite fighter are the same as outpointing them. I can't. I think two elite fighters fight each other, it's more likely to go to a decision than for there to be a knockout. That's just the way I feel about it. Ronsta, what do you think about Fury joining WWE? Bit of a joke or just financial decision? Not a joke when he gets the check. I mean, would you say no? Ronsta, would you say no to the WWE? I wouldn't. Savage Facts. Joyce is slow. Perhaps, but I still think Joyce and a lot of these guys could beat each other. James Doherty, Suleiman. It is good, but as I said, he was about at the right time. I think Vlad would have beaten him if he was a few years younger than 40. That's true. Klitschko might have beat Joshua had he not been 40 in that fight. I can't disagree with that. Ginger Giant, I disagree to an extent with the Joe Joyce opinions. He's painfully slow when you compare him to any of the top guys. And, you're totally in your, in your right to disagree, brother. I'm just saying, I think all these guys can beat each other. That's what I think. And I'd love to see them fight each other. So that's what I'm hoping for. Savage Facts. Don't bring up drug cheats in the combo. James Doherty. Joe Joyce has heart and can hurt any other heavyweight, but maybe would lose to better boxers movers like Fury Usyk. And there's one way to find out. By these guys actually fighting each other. Ginger Giant. Savage Facts. Bermain Stavern and Charles Martin are the worst title holders in the history of boxing. That may be true. Suleiman. Fury versus Vladimir would have never happened. Fury popped for Nandrolone months before the fight, but they let the show go on. At least a no contest for the Nandrolone. Suleiman, is that when he said that he was eating like wild boar or something? That was his excuse? That it was from the wild boar? I think I remember that. That's crazy. Savage Facts. Ginger, what's your point? Ginger Giant, sorry, I'm not talking to you. It's just a savage fact. Savage fact. So who is the favorite right now in the heavyweight division? Joshua lost, and Fury looked like garbage against Valen. I don't know, man. I don't know who. I don't have a favorite. I have the guy that I think is the best right now. And I would have to say Fury at this point because I thought he beat Wilder. And I think he's huge. And he can box. So I would have to say Fury. And maybe Wilder a close second. I also think Ruiz and I still think Joshua's good, man. I still think Joshua can beat anybody, you know. I think what happened with that Joshua Ruiz fight is Joshua dropped him and then went in for the kill and went right into Ruiz's wheelhouse, man. And you can't fuck with a heavyweight that's that size, short, you know, and has hand speed like Ruiz does, and walk in on them like that, man. And he learned the lesson. I think in the next fight he keeps the fight long. I think if he drops Ruiz in the next fight, he's going to keep it long. I think he's going to fight long the whole fight, and I think Joshua will win that fight. But I could be wrong. But I gotta say, you know, I think Fury won that fight, you know, against Wilder, and so I gotta go with Fury right now, you know. At the same time, the argument could be made that Fury should have been counted out, but I don't know how much I agree with that argument. But I saw Fury boxing Wilder's ears off for 12 rounds. I've seen Wilder get outboxed over and over again, and I don't feel comfortable having him as number one in my book, at least. So I got to go with Fury, Wilder, and I still got like Joshua and Ruiz maybe tied for third at this point. Maybe Joshua a little bit ahead. And then I like Dillian White, man. I like Dillian White a lot. I hope Dillian White gets his shot, you know. I really like the guy. Ronsta, AJ still the boss. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. Ginger Giant, Fury had to deal with one of the worst cuts I've ever seen and still won almost every round. He's still the Dosser killer, trust me. You know, Fury's a tough guy, man. I really like the fact that even though he was having a hard time with boxing and it wasn't getting him anywhere and he had that cut, I like the fact that he was able to revert back to just fighting. You know, he just turned into a fight, and I like that. He did what he had to do to win. I like that. Suleiman, Canelo, AJ, and Pacquiao are the only true cash cows left in boxing, in my opinion. Yeah, but wait till that Mayweather-Pacquiao rematch happens. That's going to be crazy. Crazy. I'm hearing that might happen, too. Ronsta, no heavyweights boxer has made so much paper like AJ. He's the cash cow. That's true. Suleiman. Oh, and that's probably part of the reason they're doing this fight in Saudi Arabia, too. I think that's going to favor you guys. I think that's going to be some shady shit in Saudi Arabia, and I think that's going to favor AJ. Big time. Tell me what you guys think about that. Suleiman, yep, Fury blamed tainted meat for the nandrolone, but nobody makes fun of him for it. Anytime anyone mentions Canelo tainted meat, Mexican meat is always brought up, double standards. That's true, but Canelo is a lot more popular than Fury. Maybe that's why. But, Fury sounds like he was cheating. Let's just be honest here. Savage facts. We both know Fury lost. The face did not lie. Fury lost to who? Are you saying he lost to Wilder? Or to Valen? Because I disagree with both of those, Savage. With all due respect. James Doherty. Fury looked a little overtrained his last fight. And to be fair, 2 cuts on his eye made him have to change his game plan and come forward more, trying to hide his eye. And he was able to change his game plan and win, so you got to respect him for that one. Ginger Giant, he really only tested positive because he ate uncastrated boar meat. Boars are known to jeopardize careers. Just ask Robert Baratheon. Oh my God. Ginger Giant, you win the award for funniest person in the chat tonight. Savage Facts Valen. So, Savage, you thought that Valen beat Fury in that fight? Come on, Savage Facts. Come on, my man. I mean, hey, if that's your opinion. You're entitled to it, brother. I gotta respect it, but I'm not gonna agree with it. I thought he beat up Valen, especially in the second half of the fight. I thought in the first half of the fight, though, I was like, man, who is this guy? He's getting in Fury's behind, but then yeah, and that cut was nasty, man. That cut was disgusting, and that was from a punch. They thought it was from a headbutt for a second, but that was from a punch. That's why Fury had to turn it up. Big boy, big weld. Won't be surprised if Ruiz wins again, and yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he won again. I think he basically figured out that if Joshua comes in close, he could just bomb him out. You just bang him out on the inside. But I do think Anthony Joshua made a critical mistake against Andy Ruiz when he had him hurt. He knocked him down and then he rushed in for the kill. Had he not rushed in for that kill, had he stayed long, I think he could have finished the fight. But his instinct was to run in for the kill, and he paid the ultimate price for that because he cannot match Ruiz's hand speed. Nobody in the heavyweight division can match Ruiz's hand speed, especially on the inside. That's his wheelhouse. And you don't give a guy like that the opportunity to work, man. You don't, especially in the heavyweight division, because one punch can end it all, as we've seen so many times. Ronsta, exactly, you're right. AJ never recovered after that ear punch, but he never gave up like everybody thinks any other fighter would not carry on. Yeah, I mean, he didn't give up, but he was getting his ass kicked. I mean, he didn't seem enthusiastic, but I didn't think he gave up. Savage Facts, it should have been stopped. If you're referring to the Fury fight, I mean, I don't even know what to say about that, Savage Fact. I wouldn't stop a fight if the guy is still able to fight, unless I felt like he was really in danger, and the doctor, I guess, elected not to stop the fight, so he knows better than I do. I thought it was a horrible cut. I would stop the fight personally because I'd be, kind of scared for the guy. But if the doctor's saying they can fight, then they can fight, let them fight. Suleiman, I also thought Valen should have won via stoppage. No way that fight should have seen the final bell. Fury won on points, though. I don't know. I don't know. You're both hilarious to me right now about this situation. You thought the fight should have stopped, but Fury won on points. So, I mean, stopping the fight in hindsight would have ruined the outcome. Would have been dispositive on the outcome, but you guys are still saying it should have been stopped. I don't get it. James Doherty. Savage Facts is having a giggle, LOL. He knows Fury won. Big Boy Big Weld. Even. I don't know what you mean by that, big boy. Savage Facts Fury beat his ass, but the cut counts. It's part of the game. That's true. I mean, it is part of the game, but, if the guy can continue and ends up winning the fight, I think if you stop the fight because of the cut, especially when he's winning the fight and can continue, I think it's kind of, you're getting in the way, you're getting in the way. It's kind of like a referees when they don't let guys fight, You want the referee to get the hell out the way. That's what makes a good referee, is getting the hell out the way and only being involved when they need to be involved. And so, if the cut is not going to prevent him from fighting and he's still going to be able to win, then I disagree with stopping the fight over the cut. Big Boy Big Weld. Even Holyfield discussed his speed. It's really great to see in the division. That's true, yeah. I mean, he was even saying that he sparred with Andy Ruiz. And, Andy Ruiz has been good for a very long time. I remember when he went out, I think he went out to New Zealand to fight Joseph Parker. I actually thought he won that fight. Should have been a champion back then. But I guess it didn't work out for him. And then Top Rank dumped him. And, that's the kind of bullshit that happens in boxing. But, luckily he was able to get it together and, up his career. Savage Facts. Let me see. No. Suleiman. I bet Vitaly wished he had that same ref against Lennox Lewis. That's true. That's true. And Lennox Lewis, that cut, I mean, pretty much saved that fight for Lennox Lewis. Although I thought Lennox Lewis was starting to do better as the fight progressed. But, definitely Vitaly was winning. Savage Fact, they stopped the Benavidez fight because of the cut. The guy kept fighting, but the cut was not even as severe like Fury's cut. Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to have different referees, different outcomes. I see it all the time. I have a kickboxing promotion. That's what Fighters Rep is. It's not just this channel, which is a forum for us to discuss combat sports, but it is a kickboxing promotion, the only one in California, I'm proud to say, as far as I know. The only one in the state. And, different referees, different results, different officials, different results. Unfortunately, we don't have uniformity, which would be nice. But, as long as people are in these positions, you're going to get a different result every time. And you might get a guy, even if you have the same referee, you might get him on a good night or on a bad night. They're always different. So, I mean, it's something you got to deal with. Ronsta. Let's see. He was getting beat up, correct, but when he went to his corner, he didn't even know where he was and even asked what hit him. Lucky punch by the fastest hands in the division. And obviously, Ronsta's referring to Ruiz and the Joshua fight. Ginger Giant. Guys, check out Ginger Giant Media for that old school hip-hop vibe that'll make you smack your mama. Ginger Giant, man, send me some music. I'll put it over some of our fights or something. Suleiman, Vitaly was giving Lennox the business, but too bad he wasn't the A-side like Fury was in this fight. That's true. Fury was a big-time A-side in that fight. And that's the kind of shit that drives me crazy. 47 stitches is a boxing record, to let you know in the cuts, bro. You're right about that, Savage. You're right. I mean, if any fight could have been stopped for a cut, it could have been that one. But it wasn't, and the guy won, so I don't want to, I wouldn't want to stop the fight because it would affect the outcome negatively. If it were a fight where Fury was on his way to lose, or was losing, and then had the cut, and it was, stopped against him, I'd feel much better about it. That's just the way I feel about it. Alandiones Alegría, I don't understand anything you speak. ¿Por qué Alandiones? ¿Por qué no entiendes nada de lo que estoy hablando? Si prefieres que hablo en español, lo podemos hacer, compadre. Déjame saber. Y si tiene cualquier pregunta sobre las peleas, puedes hacerlo en el chat. Gracias. James Doherty. Parker beat Andy Ruiz by 2 rounds, in my opinion. I think Parker hit Andy with the cleaner, better shots. Just goes to show different styles do make for different fight outcomes than we think. James Doherty, you don't know what you're talking about, brother. Ruiz won that fight. Get out of here, James Doherty. I'm just teasing, my man. Ronsta, Ruiz did beat Parker. Even the New Zealand boxing president resigned after that fight and was very outspoken about it. I remember that. Savage Facts, it's the money, bro. I'm okay with it. It is the money, man. It is the money. But, man, what are we going to have to do to get these guys to fight each other? And to get them to stop fighting these nobodies, you know? It's crazy, you guys. It's crazy. Alandiones Alegría, I do not speak Spanish, Portuguese, I am Brazilian. Oh, Alegría, como vai? Muito bom. I went to Brazil a couple times. Lovely place, man. Oh, I was in Rio de Janeiro and I was in Búzios, and it was a beautiful place. Muito obrigado for being in the chat. I can't speak Portuguese. No falo Portuguese, but I can understand it because it's kind of like Spanish. Suleiman, Tony Weeks also changed his refereeing style after the cut. If you didn't notice, go back and watch the Valen fight again. Before the cut, Tony was letting them scrap in the inside. After the cut, very protective. That's interesting. Savage Facts, you are literally reading everybody's comments. I'm impressed. I'm subscribing, even though you are biased. Savage, what am I biased about, man? Jesus Christ, bro. Hey, Savage, you came in here looking for a fight, but instead you found somebody that loves this shit for what it is. And I appreciate your subscription, and I thank you for subscribing and for being in the chat. I thank all of you for being in the chat. It means a lot to me. You know, I put a lot of fucking work into this, you guys, and I have a full-time job, and I'm doing this fighters rep thing because I love combat sports, and I'm doing this forum on this channel not only to build around the promotion, the kickboxing promotion, but also to to engage with fight fans and see what they want and show them what I'm about, you know. And it really, it means a fucking ton to me when you guys get in here and discuss this stuff. So I really appreciate you guys, man. Like, no joke. And I hope to one day do this full time because, fuck, waking up at 5 in the morning every day to go to work and you open your eyes and it's fucking black outside and there's no sunlight coming in. And you just got your ass beat in sparring the day before, and you're tired, and you're already in, you pass your mid-30s, and man, so I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you guys very much, very much. And yeah, you guys deserve to have your comments read, and as long as I can do it, I will do it. As long as I can keep up reading all these comments. Suleiman, I'm a new sub as well. Thank you, brother. Thank you. James Doherty, this is a great stream. Some of the other boxing hangouts don't even read the chat. I agree, Savage. I can't believe they would do that, man. The customer's always right. You guys are... Look, when you guys subscribe, you join Knucklehead Nation. That's what this is. This is Knucklehead Nation. We're just a bunch of knuckleheads that's talking about combat sports. This is what we love, And I appreciate you guys. You guys deserve to have your stuff read. You guys deserve to be engaged and interacted with. You guys went out of your way to find this fucking channel. I don't even know how you find it. But I appreciate you guys. Suleiman, will you be covering Diaz versus Masvidal as well? Also, Kobe versus Kamaru. Great fight in MMA and boxing. Canelo Kovalev. Ruiz AJ2. Lots of great fights before the end of the year. Yes, I cover MMA and boxing on this channel. And so I will be covering those fights. I'm thinking I'm thinking I might have somebody help me with the MMA portion because I've been doing everything myself, and I do have helpers that are willing to help, but I've been doing everything myself because I want to give a consistent product. But I will be covering those. I'm a big fan of MMA. I'm a bigger fan, I think, of striking. That's why I own a kickboxing promotion, the only one in the state of California, and so yeah, I will be covering those. I'm also a Miami boy, so I'm really excited about the Masvidal fight. And I live in Southern California now, so Diaz Masvidal, it's really appealing for me. Colby versus Kamaru, also very appealing to me. I'll be honest, you guys, I love the fact that these African fighters are being really represented in the sport between Adesanya and Usman, and I just think it's so cool how international combat sports is, how anybody from anywhere has a shot, and that's why it kind of drives me insane when I see tomato cans basically getting smashed, because I don't think that's a respectful thing, and I don't want to see the reputation of these sports get tarnished. So let's see what we got here. Savage Facts, drink some water. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. How about you bring me some whiskey instead? Big Boy, Big World. Did you ever see Ruiz versus Dimitrenko? I did see that fight. And that's the fight that basically had him ready to go in there and beat Anthony Joshua. That's the one that had him in there, ready to go and kick Anthony Joshua's behind. So let's see here. So yeah, I did see that Dimitrenko fight. I mean, is there any reason you're pointing that out? Is that something you enjoy? That fight? I don't know. Is there something about that fight? Ronsta, everybody is biased. I'm a new subscriber. Top channel. Even enjoy Savage Facts opinions. Maybe he should change his name to Savage Opinions. I like it. Savage. Look at this. Look at this love you're getting in here, Savage. You're getting tough love in here, bro. You came in here starting shit, and you ended up with friends. Look at you. Suleiman, Savage Opinions does fit better, to be honest. I'm going to consider it, says Savage Facts. Oh, man, you guys are tripping out in here. Big fights in 2 weeks' time. Regis Prograis versus Josh Taylor, a 50-50 fight in my eyes. James, if you guys look at the videos on this channel, Prograis is training here in Los Angeles, and I got an interview with him recently with Regis Rougarou Prograis. He is a bad dude, man, and he was really nice. I went to a Churchill's Boxing Club in Los Angeles. I forgot where it was. I drove there just to interview Regis. Really nice guy, really insightful, funny guy. Definitely check out the interview. And he's just a bad dude, man. To be honest with you, that is a 50-50 fight, man. That's going to be a great fight. But I got to go with Prograis on that one, man. I think Prograis is just too much at this point for Josh Taylor. I think he's got too much experience for Josh Taylor. But yeah, man. Big Boy, Big World, when you mentioned African fighters, one great fighter last decade was Corey Sanders. Yeah, I mean, he's the one that knocked out Klitschko. I remember that guy. I do remember that guy. Suleiman. Oh, yeah, Derek Chisora versus David Price as well on that card. Oh, man. That's a fight. That's a fight that I'm really looking forward to, that Chisora-David Price fight. Because a lot of people are counting David Price out, you guys. But if I'm being honest with you, I think Price has got a real shot in that fight against Chisora, because I feel like Chisora is so erratic, and so is Price. But I thought Price was going to get knocked out by Dave Allen in that last fight, and he didn't, man. And he hurt Povetkin before he got stopped by Povetkin. So David Price is a big, strong guy, man. He lands one big punch on you, and it could be the end of the road And he does have a shot at landing that knockout punch against Chisora, man. So I'm really excited about that fight. What do you guys think about that fight? Who do you guys think win that fight? A couple of you look like you might be from the UK or Ireland, so tell me what you guys think about that fight. You guys are, that's your boxing scene out there. I do follow it, but I do think it's the most exciting boxing scene. But what do you guys think about that fight, Suleiman? Oh yeah, you already said the Derek Chisora David Price thing. Savage Facts. What's your view on the Canelo versus Kovalev fight? Oh, that's a good one, Savage. That's a real good one, my man. But you know what? To be honest with you, I think Canelo is sort of doing what Mayweather did. He's going after the money fights, and he's going after guys when he sees that they're starting to deteriorate a little bit. I think he saw how Andre Ward beat Kovalev to the body. I think he saw Kovalev is starting to age a little. He had that very tough fight against Yard in his last fight. And I think Canelo's saying, I can add another belt to my legacy, another weight division. This guy's on his way out. I'm still priming. I can beat this guy to the body, especially. And so, even though it's a dangerous fight for Canelo because Kovalev can still knock you out even with a jab, I just don't think Kovalev's going to be able to deal with Canelo's body work and just deal with Canelo at all, to be honest with you. Tell me what you think about that fight. James Doherty, I look up the vid. Cheers. Thank you, my man. I really appreciate that. James. Suleiman, I got Kovalev, but it's going to be a competitive war. I can't wait for that one. Also, I'm excited for Chisora Price, who you got in both fights. Suleiman, I got to go with Canelo. Again, I think if he hits Kovalev to the body a couple times, it's over. But again, Kovalev can knock people out with a jab, as he's shown before. And as far as Chisora Price, man, I got to go with Chisora. But I do think Price has a real shot in that fight, man. I think after that win against Dave Allen, his confidence is probably higher than ever. He knows he's got a big chance here against Chisora. And he can win that fight, man. I think that's a toss-up. Savage Facts is saying, I feel like Kovalev might upset Canelo. That's a possibility. That's a possibility too, but I feel like Kovalev has really aged in his past few fights. He got knocked out by a later Perez, or I forgot his last name, but he got knocked out. Then he came back and won that fight. Then he had that war with Anthony Yard. He's been stopped by Andre Ward in a couple tough fights. He's just been through too much. He's getting up there in age, and I think he's eroded to the point where Canelo's like, I got this guy, I got this guy. So I think Canelo's going to beat him. Both Price and Chisora are coming off great wins. This is Suleiman. Both Price and Chisora are coming off great wins. Both self-esteem riding high. That's true too, man. That's going to be a fun fight. That's going to be a shootout, I think. Big boy, big weld. Kovalev beating Canelo would be neat. It's possible. I don't think he's going to beat Canelo, you guys. I mean, why do you guys think Kovalev will beat Canelo? What is it about Kovalev that you guys think would allow him to beat Canelo? Ronsta, everybody chatting, but only 4 like. Give the guy some credit. Hit the like button. Thank you, Ronsta. Damn, man, what the hell's going on? And not one super chat donation? What have I done to you guys? And more subscriptions, please. Show some love. We do this. I'm going to be doing this like every other night, and I've been doing this already for quite a while. Let's see. James Doherty. If fights were over 3 rounds, Price would be world champ. He just stiffens up, tries too much after a few rounds. Pity, as he's not a bad boxer puncher. He's got a huge punch. And he definitely needs to continue to, work on his defense because his chin, I read the most hilarious comment in social media. Somebody said that his wife kisses him on the chin to put him to sleep. Bro, you guys are fucking ruthless out there in the UK, my man. Holy shit, man. Hey, you know, I really don't think our humor here in the States can rival yours in the UK, you guys. I can't. I just can't. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna say about that. I go through some of those comment sections and in the boxing videos, and I die, man. I die. Can Price not gas out and outbox Chisora? It's an interesting one, says Ginger Giant. I agree. Suleiman, do you think Canelo is a harder puncher than Ward? Because Kovalev stood in there and took Ward's best shots and only started to get broken down in the second after many, many low blows. Well, Suleiman, I'll be honest with you. I didn't think Andre Ward was punching Kovalev low. I thought Andre Ward was punching Kovalev on the belt line. And, thank you. Cheers, brothers. So I thought Andre Ward was punching Kovalev on the belt line. I thought he went to the body in the first fight and figured out Kovalev was kind of weak to the body and decided to really invest in the second fight. And I do think Canelo has more power than Andre Ward, even if it's slightly more. Andre Ward is a beast. Andre Ward is one of the best all-around boxers I've ever seen. And he was second pound for pound after Mayweather when they were both active, in my opinion. But I think he was hitting him on the belt line, which I thought was legal. And I think Kovalev was just not able to handle it. But, that's a matter of opinion. That's a matter of opinion. Savage Facts, I thought Yard was going to win because he was old, but I was wrong. Well, Yard almost won that fight, though, and Yard has a lot less experience than Kovalev. Yard is still a young man, a lot less experience. His trainer was talking all this BS, saying that he doesn't even have him sparring people. I mean, could you imagine if Yard was actually getting some real advice? And, another thing about Yard is I think he needs to stop with the weightlifting and work on his craft. And I think he would have won that fight had he done that. Put down the damn weights, work on your craft, become a better boxer. I think he would have won that fight. Ginger Giant, remember when everyone in the UK was saying Price would demolish Fury in 2 rounds? Then Tony Thompson happened twice. That was hilarious, my man. That was hilarious. Savage Facts, I subscribe and hit the like button. I'm good for now. Thank you for that, Savage. I appreciate you. Ginger Giant is saying Irie. I think he's saying Irie. Oh, there it is. Big Boy, Big World, glad to find this discussion channel. Definitely subscribed. Thank you, Big Boy. I appreciate it, man. This thing has been here not that long, but I have been dedicated to it. I've been doing interviews. I've got a couple guys that help me, younger guys that help me do interviews and stuff. Ivan and Marco, show them some love. Check out some of the interviews. And I'll be doing this discussion about the fights coming up and after the big fights, immediately after the big fights, typically 9 p.m. Pacific time. Definitely, after you subscribe, click the bell notification icon. It'll let you know, when we're on here. Savage Facts, that's a lot of ice. It's a lot of whiskey too, my man. Ooh, yeah, I like it icy, bro. I like it icy, my brother. But yeah, we'll be doing this a lot, Big Boy. And I appreciate it. What will Ruiz versus Fury be like if we get it? Big Boy, I think, honestly, Ruiz will be forced to fight on the inside in that fight, but Fury will be moving around the whole time. I think that would be a great fight. I think Fury wins, but, because he's so mobile and he knows how to use his reach and knows how to box so well. But I think Ruiz can give him a hell of a fight. If Ruiz gets in on the inside and bangs him to the body, and I have an interview on the channel as well, and I got like 40-something thousand views. It's incredible. It's with Ruiz's coach, Manny Robles. They're all right here in California. I keep telling you guys I'm here in the mecca of combat sports. All these fighters you guys are bringing up, half of them train here. Even Derek Chisora was here with guys from the Black House team. Black House MMA, where Anderson Silva trains. Chisora was here just a minute ago. Not literally a minute ago, but a little while ago. And I was actually going to go interview him. But I interviewed Manny Robles, and it's really interesting to get into the mind of the coach. Manny Robles, very proud Mexican-style coach. And, Mexican style means, they go in, they fight you on the inside, and they go to that body hard. They're trying to get to the liver. So I think Ruiz could do that against Fury successfully. I mean, he could win that fight. But Fury's so slippery and can move so well and uses his boxing so well. It's just amazing. Suleiman, please just type Ward Kovalev low blows on YouTube and watch those slow-mo videos, which will 100% show you they were very low. I'll definitely check it out, Suleiman. I definitely, respect your opinion enough already to check it out. But just, having watched the fight, I thought Ward just beat the shit out of Kovalev, to be honest with you. I thought he ran through him. He figured him out. Ward is brilliant. He just ran through him. Savage Fact said that's a lot of ice. We already went through that. Big Boy slowed down. He has to get through AJ first. And with boxing politics, probably won't happen if he loses. Fucking boxing politics, Ronsta. Fucking boxing politics, man. That's what we're talking about here. It never stops. It just never stops. They're gonna ruin the sport. I'm telling you guys, they're gonna ruin the sport if we don't keep talking about this and harassing them. They're gonna ruin the sport, James Doherty, Price is from Liverpool, so I like him as I follow Liverpool FC in football. Maybe he would make a good goalkeeper at 6'7". At least he could catch the ball at corner kicks. Oh, yeah, but what if the ball hits him right here, James? You guys are going to need a backup. You guys are going to need a backup goaltender. Maybe you get Tyson Fury in there. Big Boy, Big Belt, Ronsta. I'm going to just agree with Fury as well as Wilder and bet on Ruiz dropping AJ again. And, it could happen. It could happen. I think the Ruiz-AJ fight for me at this point is 55-45. I'm favoring Joshua to win that fight. So that's a very close fight. I just think, again, Joshua should not have... he shouldn't have gone inside like that after he dropped Ruiz. If he would have stayed long, bam, bam, jab, straight punches, outside. If he would have stayed long, he would have won that fight. But he just went in there and started swinging wild. And I've been on the inside against a shorter person. And it's not the smartest. Not the smartest. Especially when the short person's got some power and speed. Not the smartest, my friends. Ginger Giant, in another dimension, Price. In another dimension, Price beats Chisora on a SD, then goes on to KO Wilder. Perhaps in another dimension, Ginger. Ronsta, are you sure your drink is cold? Maybe a bit more ice. Thank you, Ronsta. I really appreciate the sarcasm. I don't know what I'd do without it, brother. Savage Facts, I want AJ to beat Ruiz, but I'm scared that they won't make the Wilder versus Joshua fight. I want AJ to beat Ruiz, but I'm scared they won't make the Wilder versus Joshua. Man, they got to make that fight. That's such a huge fight. I still think that's the biggest fight in heavyweight boxing is Wilder versus Joshua. I still think that's the biggest fight in heavyweight boxing. Maybe Joshua Fury over in the UK. Because, man, they're filling out soccer stadiums out there. But, yeah, it's either Joshua Fury or Joshua Wilder. Those are the biggest fights in boxing. Or maybe Ruiz, being that he's got the Mexican fan base behind him, and they're very supportive. at some point, maybe his popularity gets him up there as well. We'll see. We'll see. James Doherty saying, I think AJ and Wilder could both lose against Fury, Ruiz, so nothing is certain, Savage Facts. These guys, all these guys can lose to each other. All these guys can lose to each other. Ron's the big boy, don't be so sure of that. Anything can happen. Ruiz got lucky. Lightning does not strike twice in the same place. I feel the same as Ronsta about that, man. I think Ruiz got a little bit lucky there. But I know Ruiz can box too, so, it was a little bit of luck. Joshua basically messed up. But I think he learned his lesson, so we'll see what happens now if he makes any adjustments. Suleiman, Freddie Rhodes said recently that Manny Pacquiao will fight the winner of Spence versus Crawford. Great chess move by Team Pac-Man. Pac-Man's going to fight Mayweather, I think, next. That's what I'm hearing. I'm not sure if you guys saw. I made a video about it just recently, or if you guys have been looking at boxing news. It looks like Mayweather was setting up another one of these exhibition fights in Asia, this time in China as opposed to Japan. And the promoter for that exhibition fight is saying that he basically decided not to go through with that exhibition fight and is turning his attention instead to a rematch with Manny Pacquiao. So if I'm Manny Pacquiao, I'm getting ready to make another $100 million, and life is good. Savage Facts, the way Fury fought the other day, I have Wilder, Fury, and AJ beating him by KO. So you have Wilder and AJ beating him by KO. I think you also meant Ruiz. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe that's not what you meant. Clear it up, Savage. Clear it up. Savage, you have Fury beating Fury. Look, they're making fun of you now, Savage. You had friends. You were good. And now now you're getting them on the other side again. You need to fix this. Okay, he said Ruiz. We got you, Savage. Damn, you've got Wilder, Ruiz, and AJ beating Fury by KO. Dude, you are harsh. Savage, good night, Savage. We'll see you soon, man. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate your trolling, even though it was slightly insightful trolling. Suleiman said, Savage, you have Fury beating Fury, maybe, but I think Fury outboxes Fury easily. Wow, Suleiman. You're a pain in the ass right now. Whiskey Dragonfly, if Spence takes longer than 10 months to recover from the car crash, does the IBF or WBC strip him? And what happens to the rest of the welterweight division? It doesn't sound like he'll need that much time to recover. But even if he didn't need time to recover, I mean, who was he even going to fight next? And there's so many belts in the welterweight division. I think he'll be fine. What I want to see is Crawford Spence, That's what I want to see. I'm wondering what we have to do to get there. I'm wondering if he's going to have to now rematch Sean Porter. I'm wondering if that'll be next. I think Danny Garcia's next. We'll see what happens against Danny Garcia. The thing is, PBC, has got so many welterweights, they can just keep Terrence Crawford on the back burner, man, and that's what worries me. That's what worries me. Ginger Giant, guys, I'm out for the night. It's been emotional. Thank you, Ginger. Have a wonderful night, my man. Appreciate you very much. James Doherty, Tyson Fury is ducking Roman Reigns. LOL, wow. Wow. Hey, guys, please subscribe if you haven't already and hit that like button. It's much appreciated. Also, feel free to donate to the Super Chat and, do anything else the nice people on YouTube do. When they enter a forum that welcomes everybody, doesn't care where you're from, just wants to talk about combat sports. And if you're just joining us, Usyk pretty much beat the dog shit out of Chaz Witherspoon in a sparring match, or what looked like a sparring match, where Chaz basically gave up at the end of the 7th round. It was sad to see. And there's no reason a 40-year-old guy like Chaz Witherspoon should have been in there with Usyk. So Big Boy Big World is saying Ron's the lucky lightning doesn't strike twice in the same spot. That's true, but a Snickers champ can't lose his belt to those unworthy of it. Snickers is delicious, Big Boy. Rob G. Film Ruiz is gonna win, then eat some menudo after the fight, bro. Menudo is so fucking good, bro. Oh my god, don't even start. Don't even start. Suleiman, I think Dillian White is the real deal. He needs to work on his footwork, though. Very awkward, off-balance foot placement by White. Suleiman, I love Dillian White, man. I love the way he fights. I like his attitude. He wants to fight everybody. He's hilarious on camera, but real at the same time. And that's, honestly, he's one of my favorite heavyweights. Like, favorite, you know? And I'm not really a fanboy, but he's definitely one of my favorites. I really enjoy watching him fight and hearing him talk. Ronsta, Big Boy, wow, you think AJ's unworthy? He's achieved the most and quickest in the heavyweight division like no one else in our era. Ronsta has a point there, Big Boy. I don't know what you're going to say about that, but I think Ronsta just threw the gauntlet down on you, Big Boy. Suleiman, Dillian White versus Usyk next is what I want. Man, that would be intriguing. Suleiman, that would be intriguing, my brother. That is a great, great fantasy matchup there. So, guys, thank you so much for joining the chat. We've been in here, believe it or not, almost 2 hours talking this smack. So I'm going to have to let you guys go in a bit. I just want to tell you guys I really appreciate you guys. Join in the chat. If you're just joining, Usyk beat Witherspoon, 7th round TKO. Easy work for Usyk. Thank you all for joining the chat. Remember, we're going to be doing this almost every day or every other day at 9 p.m. Pacific. So hit the subscribe button and click the bell notification icon next to it. We're going to be doing this 9 p.m. Pacific. Join us. This is a forum where you guys are all welcome. You can say whatever you like. There's no censorship. I don't kick people out. I don't care where you're from. You know, we don't care where you're from. That's the attitude I want here. We just care that you talk about combat sports, that you enjoy combat sports, mainly MMA and boxing. Although I did watch that Glory main event today, and that shit was incredible. That shit was incredible. I don't know if you guys watched Murat Grigorian versus Tijani Bastati today, but that was incredible. Suleiman, before I sign out, I'll read your last few comments in the chats here. Dillian White needs a podcast. He's a great personality and smarter than people think. I agree with that. Big Boy Big World, I don't know, Ronsta. You saw what happens when you aren't worthy of Snickers. Schwartz learned the hard way. James Doherty, I would love to see White versus Wilder just for the build-up to the fight. Oh my goodness. James, that would be fantastic. Suleiman, time flies when having fun. Great stream. I'll have notifications turned on. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate you so much, Suleiman. The sit-down face-to-face would be legendary between Wilder and White. I agree with that if they ever did that. Bivol, yes, T4L3, thank you so much for joining the chat. Bivol is a badass, but he fought a 22-1 underdog. Hard for me to get on board with that one, but yes, he's a badass. Damn, George, chat was on fire tonight, Marathon, man. Thank you, brother. Much appreciated. Hey, you guys, be sure to subscribe. We'll be back on. Might be doing this again tomorrow. Same time, same place, 9 p.m. Pacific. If not, watch out for us on Monday. Definitely Thursdays and immediately after the big fights on Saturdays, or sometimes if they're on Fridays or Sundays or whenever. But definitely Thursdays we do our predictions. I'd love to get your guys' opinions on those. And immediately after the big fights, I go live. That's what we're doing here. So thank you guys so much. Ronsta saying, thanks, champ. Much love from Poland. Times to sleep all night waiting for Usyk fight. Wow, man. Big Big up, man. I can't believe you're watching from Poland. I really appreciate that, man. James Doherty, thanks for the hangout. Have a good night. You too, James. Much appreciated, brother. So that man, peace, good night, y'all. Peace, my brother. Off topic question. Did you watch PFL a day ago? Kayla Harrison was in main event. Interesting. What do you think about it? I didn't catch it, Vladimir, although I had a buddy who went basically as like a coach or a trainer. But let me know in the comments section what happened, brother. I'm signing off. I've been on here 2 hours. That's ridiculous. I'm signing off. I really appreciate you guys. Please subscribe. We'll be doing this again soon. Much love.